Today I'm going to show you the secret to the juiciest pork chops every time. Okay, so here I have a bone-in center cut pork chop with the fat cap, which I just took right out of the refrigerator, okay? And the first thing you're going to want to do is grab a paper towel and just dab it up, get it as dry as possible on both sides. Okay, so now that our pork chop's been patted dry, we're going to hit it with some kosher salt, some coarse ground black pepper, give it a flip, and we're going to season the other side. So now that we have both sides seasoned, we want to make sure we come up here and we want to grab all that seasoning to get it right on the fat cap. So now what we're going to do is, you just want to let this hang out on the counter for about 8 to 10 minutes, let it come up to room temperature, and also the seasoning on here is going to help tenderize it. All right, so our pork chop's been hanging out. I've got my cast iron pan on a medium heat ready to go here. Today I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil. Now our pork chop. Just going to lay it right away from the hair. So do a gentle little press in the pan. Now, this pork chop is not that thick, so we're going to go about 2 to 3 minutes per side. All right, so after about 3 to 4 minutes, we're just going to give it a peek here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. What we want to do is we want to render down the fat cap. And we're just going to put it over here and render that down. We're actually just going to let it sit right there for a couple minutes. All right, so now that the fat cap's been rendered down, we're going to finish up this side. Add some butter, some garlic. Now I turn my pan down to a low heat because when you cook with cast iron, you know the pan gets hot. And now we baste. Get all the nice flavors in here from the garlic and the butter. And we're going to let this side go for about another 2 minutes. All right, so after 2 minutes, I turn my pan all the way down. We're just going to get our pork chop out of here. We're going to put it on a plate and let it rest. Okay, so our pork chop's done, hanging out in the back burner. Let's build a nice sauce for this. So I'm going to add some shallots to my pan, which I let cool down. And now I just have it on a low heat. So we're just going to sweat these for a couple minutes. All right, so after a couple minutes, low heat, I'm going to add my garlic. And we're going to cook our garlic for about 30 seconds or until you smell it. Okay? You don't want to cook it too long because you're going to lose the flavor. Okay, now I'm starting to smell the garlic. I'm going to add some brandy. And you don't have to use brandy. You can use apple juice, apple cider. Just light the place on fire, cooking off that alcohol. Now I'm going to add just less than a cup of chicken broth. Now I'm going to add some heavy cream, about a half a cup. And we're going to bring this up to a simmer. Okay, as this comes up to a simmer, I'm going to add the garlic that we used to baste our pork chop with, some black pepper, and some Dijon mustard. And we're going to whisk this right in here as it comes up to a simmer. All right, so our sauce is coming up to a boil, and I'm going to add our pork chop right into here. Okay, pork chop's undercooked. This is actually going to continue the cooking process. And I'm going to turn my pan down very low. All right, so now that our pan's in a nice simmer, I'm just going to add a little bit of butter. And we can work this in here. That's going to help thicken our sauce. All right, let that go for another couple minutes. Okay, so it's been about 3-4 minutes, and you can see our sauce is starting to thicken up here. Just enough to coat the back of a spoon. Okay, so now we're just going to take some of our pan sauce. I like just to lay it right on the plate, kind of like this. All right, spread that all out nice, and then our pork chop right on the top there. And a little parsley for garnish. All right, so I just gave it a cut. Grab some of this sauce here. The juiciest pork chops every time.